For our agenda, we have a quick we're excited to announce today that it's our first public announcement of the beta version of our topic, which is a solution called the STEM Integration Continuum. It's a solution that will support you with and helping your organization support in developing a comprehensive STEM education system. And we're excited for you to learn more from our panelists today. In our last session, our CEO, Marlon Lindsay, energetically went into detail about the 4 levels of STEM integration. And so today's session builds upon what he discussed and will help us learn more about who 21st Centered is, why we're doing this, what the STEM integration continuum is, why it's important, and how the solution how it can support you and what it tells you. So, as you know, in a nutshell, our general objective is that to discover how the STEM Integration Continuum tool supports educational leaders in developing a comprehensive STEM education system where all students are exposed to relevant experiences and opportunities, gaining the knowledge and skills that will allow them to thrive as graduates in 21st century. It's now my privilege to introduce our panelists. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing so we can see everybody here. I'm going to first introduce one of our most veteran 21st Centered team members, Carol Pallas in New York. Carol works in our products and services department right now and has 34 years of experience as an educator, having served in many capacities, including superintendent of Chalmont Central School District in New York. She's facilitated and implemented the profile of a graduate throughout the district and focused on strategic planning and focused on achieving designated competencies for each graduate. Next, we have Jodi Woodruff in Missouri. Jodi is a consultant with 21st Centered and an associate professor at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. She's been teaching research methods in biological psychology, human development for 16 years. Focus on research is practicing transformation in healthcare settings and has demonstrated expertise in leading system-wide change throughout professional development, coaching, and the use of data to improve outcomes. Lastly, not least, we have Yvette Banderma, also a consultant with 21st Centered's Systemic Solutions, which stands for Collective Impact STEM Integrated Communities. Yvette is an organizational psychologist with extensive experience in strategic planning in educational systems and focuses on community partnerships, utilizing the collective impact framework to support the district's partners in STEM initiatives, align with both community and the district to future-proof students for the 21st century workforce. Thank you, everybody. Mic check, let's make sure we can hear you.
Hello, good morning.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, so let's jump into, I want to ask Carol this first question. Context is so important in building common understanding. Carol, you were one of the leaders in the development of the STEM Integration Continuum. Can you talk to our listeners about where the conception came from?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Danny, and welcome, listeners. Thank you for joining us. So the STEM Integration Continuum was really born out of the idea that today's school leaders are really looking to program a more STEM and focused school experience for students. I know for me as superintendent, it was really all about trying to shift the script, if you will, and provide opportunities and experiences for students that were more relevant and much more 21st century focused. And so there were so many things to think about that it was hard to think through all of the pieces of the puzzle that you have to consider when developing this type of programming. So the STEM Integration Continuum was created to help school leaders think through the various aspects of things that you need to have in order to truly do STEM focused and 21st century focused programming, teaching and learning, curriculum, et cetera, for students. And in some cases, states are actually requiring that schools align with the state education department's either profile of a graduate, or they may have a PK-20 STEM framework. And so in those cases, school leaders are looking for guidance in creating those documents as well. So that's really the conception of where this came from, is really to help school leaders think and plan towards a STEM and 21st century focused future for their students.
Thank you, Carol. Yeah, I know that there has been a sense of urgency to be able to know where your school stands, or, helping us know, preparing our students, children, and communities for a world of work that is advancing so quickly. Let's go ahead and jump into this, kind of the structure, helping our listeners understand what this is by talking about the structure and how it works. Jodi, would you talk to us, how is it built? What is it necessarily assessing? And then I think I'll jump to Carol for the access piece, and for the culture, and Yvette, if you could help us understand the community piece of the domains.
Sure. So Carol, Yvette, and myself all work together looking into a number of different tools that exist already out there. As Carol mentioned, a lot of states are looking at STEM certified schools, what that means. We've used a lot of our practices framework and really dug into the research to see what does it mean to be a comprehensive STEM system. And as we went through this, we really set it up as a rubric. There's 4 different levels where you can be along any of our different domains. So our domains are context, which is your strategy, access, culture, and community. And then within each one of them, you could be at a different level. So the way that we've described those levels are discrete, integrated, immersive, and comprehensive. And for all the educators out there, I think, this aligns with a lot of the ways that, we look at how students are coming along in their own, path to achieving mastery of a subject. This is more about, how we achieve this comprehensive STEM system. And so we have indicators for each of the domains, or building blocks that a school district can use, that we then assess to see where they're at within the system. And then we kind of take all that information in together. It's very qualitative, and give feedback on where they fall along that continuum from discrete to comprehensive.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So in these different domains, Carol, talk to us a little bit about what are they assessing in access and culture domain?
Sure. So in the access domain, really school leaders and their stakeholders are going to be looking at just that. What is the access that students have to technology, maybe to pathways that are focused on career and technical education, through a series of statements? The leaders are going to look at those considerations and then decide where they stand currently in meeting those particular building blocks. So as Jodi described, you might be at a beginning level of that, you might be further along in the process, but all of this has to do with accessing technology. Maybe you have a computer lab in one school and not in other schools, that kind of thing. So this is truly the access to technology, access to those programs, opportunities, experiences that one might need to think about. And this tool will help the school leaders to think about what those might be, and again, where they stand currently, almost like a scorecard in moving towards a full comprehensive approach to that.
Awesome, thank you. Just adding a little knowledge on, with the stool, our approach at 21st Ed, right, is this 3-prong, really, with 4 components. And there's so many things that go into each of these legs. The community piece, I think, is one that makes 21st Ed pretty unique, in that we're adding and seeing as a comprehensive STEM system, there's more than just the school district and the parents, involved. How, Yvette, can you help us understand some of the
Sure.
things that would be assessed in the community piece.
Sure. So we look at districts and we understand that if kids are going to be successful in the workforce and we're preparing them for that workforce setting, that they have to operate outside of the vacuum that they've normally been doing for the last few decades. And this is not all schools, obviously, this is not all districts. But what we found is that districts tend to operate in their own silo because they have so many requirements. And so that we're looking in this perspective, from this perspective, we're looking at the indicators that show us that they've been interacting with the community, that their community is actively engaged, that the variety of stakeholders from industry to nonprofits to hospitals, et cetera, are all joining forces to help the district move their STEM vision and their STEM planning along.
Wonderful, thank you. So I know that there's a few pieces and options right now. 20% we have in this beta version. There's the freemium, right? Everybody can access this, and then there's also a premium. Carol, can you talk to us a little bit about what they might be seeing in each of these? You're on mute.
Sorry. So yes, I can. The free version, which we're calling freemium, is on our website. Anyone can take that. And this just provides a few statements with some of the indicators to give you a quick initial look at what the full view of the version might look like if you were to be interested in that. So it gives you some of the questions in each of the domains. And it also gives you an immediate result in the form of a graphic, giving you a sense of where you fall based on those few questions in the indicators towards STEM focused and 21st century focused planning. So it will give you a gist of each of those, and it really kind of whets your appetite for what could come in a much deeper version, which is the one on the right, the premium or paid version. This version is really a full assessment with many building blocks and options to think about through each of those areas: strategy, access. I don't know that we talked much about culture, but culture really focuses in on professional development for administrators and teachers, and making sure that the entire school system is understanding and clear on the mission and vision around STEM and 21st century focused schools. So this tool, when you get into the premium version, really goes much more in depth into each of those four domains. Again, the indicators are there still from the beginning to comprehensive. Again, everybody working towards that comprehensive level. And in this version, at the end, you will get a full report analysis and a review of the next steps with one of the 21st century ed consultants in helping you understand what your strengths are, where your areas of growth are, and again, where you want to go for next steps related to STEM and 21st century focusing.
Thank you. Let's take a kind of a quick look at an example of something that would be asked on the STEM integration continuum. Panelists, can you help walk us through kind of this, what the difference here between the basic and the freemium?
Yeah, so the basic really gets at just a few key indicators that we thought would give us a good sense of where people are at, and really looking at the degree to which it's being done. So, and thinking along that district-wide community piece, are these things that are happening for some students in some schools, or are these things that are all students have access to in all schools across the district and occurring within the community? It's a very, very basic, like Carol said, just trying to get a gist of what is going on and to what degree it's going on within a district. And then on that premium example, you take a look at this. These really are going into the indicators that comprise the entire STEM integration continuum that we've determined really represent where a lot of the districts that we've again worked with are at, and what we've seen in practice. And then kind of looking at that along those different levels. So you can see it looks a little bit more like a rubric where you've got some, basic things, moving up to more detailed, more integrated, more system-wide, community-wide implementation of different activities.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to kind of jump back to this here. we'll open up to the whole panel. As a stakeholder in your community, how would you, and then Carol, also as a former superintendent, how would knowing your school district standing, or even, you know, a community member, a business maybe knowing the district standing, how would that information on the STEM integration continuum be helpful?
I think it's very helpful for everyone within the school community and externally, because it's a way for you to have a starting point and then to track your progress as you move through each of these indicators. So everyone is very clear at where you are in kind of your state of the state related to these 4 domains. And then as you grow, as you make improvements, as you add towards that goal of being at the full comprehensive level, you can chart it on these indicators, and your community and your internal stakeholders are going to be able to see that progress and be supportive of that, and really celebrate that success, I think, as you go along. So it's a good way to show the efforts that you're making towards STEM focused, 21st century focused schooling, and it allows everybody internally and externally to really see that progress towards that goal.
Awesome. How about Yvette? Can you share some insight from a community standpoint?
Sure. So I think one of the unique aspects of this tool is that it allows us to really delve into strategic planning around STEM integration. And so not only the district, but the district partners or potential partners can actually see where they are, what the needs are, and really plug in those holes and those gaps that exist. Because our ultimate goal is to reinforce the workforce, right? To drive economic sustainability, to drive local economies. We talk about local economies a lot, but what we're seeing is the trend is that we're not preparing our students enough for those local economies. And so we're looking at local industry, local bigger players in the industries and across the sectors, and seeing how they can support the district. But knowing this information from, going through the STEM integration continuum, knowing where the gaps are, allows the district, the community partners to really say, hey, we're here to support you. How can we do this? How can we start some internships? How can we support your CTE programming?
Yeah, no, I love that, and love this, the piece there. We believe, as education organizations develop the comprehensive STEM education system where all students are exposed to the relevant experiences and opportunities, it helps them gain the knowledge and skills that will help them, be contributing graduates, not just, and prepare for the 21st century. There's so many pieces and partners that can be a part of that. I think that, yeah, I agree. Having that understanding can really support a common initiative around the district. Any additional thoughts before we wrap it up?
I want to say one thing. I think that from a collective impact perspective, there is a responsibility. I think there's an onus that has to be taken on with respect to the formation of our kids, and it really isn't just the district, right? And so that's where this comes in. It's, how do we help build a culture? How do we help build access? Do the kids have all the tools that they need? Do the kids have all the, is the culture around STEM, is the culture around workforce development? So I think that that's really a unique space to be in.
Thank you. Thank you. And so relevant for today's, situation. We appreciate you panelists for joining us for this short 20 minutes that we've had here and discussing the STEM integration continuum. We look forward to comments and questions and supporting all you education leaders in understanding where you stand in a comprehensive STEM education system. Just as a reminder, in case those who missed it, we've recently launched Pedagogy AI, as you see here on the screen. It's an additional solution to support the comprehensive STEM educational system designed to help educators automate course creation, unit creation, lesson integration, and personalized learning, fostering creativity and practical understanding. Because by collaborating with educators, it prepares students for that digital age. in understanding the interests of the students and being able to automate that, lessons based on student interest, based on standards as well, adding all of those components to standards. We appreciate everybody joining on, and we're here to help. We want to be a partner with you in STEM education. Please reach out to us via any of these emails or our website, 21stcented.com. And we believe these strategies and tools provide the solutions to ensure every student is equipped and with necessary skills for the 21st century. And lastly, here you go. We have our 4th session coming up on July 16th. Feel free if any additional questions or comments come up later on, please feel free to grab this screenshot and QR code here to be able to submit those questions. We look forward to seeing you next time for our final session in the series, when our team will discuss the role of AI, such a relevant and common issue and opportunity in today's world. So thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time.